Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you are watching this. Today we are looking at Node Bridge, which is a really interesting kind of incremental progression game with the roguelite mechanism where you keep failing, but each failure gives you a few more resources so that you have a meta progression, which in this game is just called meta progression, which is nice, pretty direct and straightforward. Yeah, and the game idea is that you draw bridges between nodes. You take these resources from the nodes, and you're trying to get further down a kind of node tree, which is it's almost like the traveling salesman problem. It's not quite like that, but it is along those lines, and I think working it out computationally would probably be a similarly difficult challenge. All right, let's jump in and have a look at the game, and we'll show off some gameplay, and then we'll have a little bit of critique afterwards. So let me run it. The game is made apparently in libgdx for the libgdx jam. I don't know this development platform at all, but it seems to have generated a fairly nice game. I say generated, allowed the developer to create a fairly nice game. I don't know if it's AI related. That's always the question you have to ask these days. Right, so let us max out the screen. And this is, I suppose, like the lobby also doubles as a kind of tutorial. There's no built-in tutorial, but yeah, there's a reset progress button. I haven't had any progress on this. I tried it on Firefox. It worked absolutely fine there. I actually finished the game. And we are now on Chrome, and it seems to be working fine. So yeah, and no issues there, I imagine. I have no idea if it works on Edge or whatever Microsoft is now calling its fancy browser. But yeah, I'm sure it will be. Right, let's hit the play button and we'll look at the game mechanics. So this is our progression. This is another one of these games that starts us with the progression rather than the actual gameplay itself. But as you can see, we have one node that we can select for $1, but we have $0 at the moment. And these are other sort of progression selections that are grayed out at the moment until we buy this one, and then they will activate and we'll be able to see what they are, things like that. And then what we do is we can play, and we see all of the islands that we need to bridge to. So we have a tick of 3 seconds. We have one bridge. That's what those two things mean. We have $0. We can go backwards. This is where we start, and these are the sort of the nodes that we can connect to. We can only connect to the 3 that are closest to where we're connecting from. And as you can see, there is a long row of islands that we eventually want to connect up, and then right at the end here somewhere is the end. We're trying to get a bridge to that point essentially, which is difficult, but not as difficult as you might think because, of course, of the meta progression. Anyway, so what we do is we click and we drag a bridge from the start to the first node, the first island, and a truck will zoom along the bridge, pick up whatever's on the island, and then return again. And then if we then connected several islands, the truck would then go along to each one, pick up one resource from each island, and then return. And as it returns, it picks up a resource from each island again. And you'll see what I mean, but that is the basic gameplay that we then try and improve with our meta progression. So drag a bridge and it goes zoom zoom and it runs back and forwards, but we have no more bridges. We can't extend it any further, so this run has failed, but we earned $1, and that takes us back to our meta progression, and then we can use that $1 to buy another bridge. So we now have 2 bridges that we can play with. We've unlocked more upgrade points, each of which cost, well, these 3 cost $1 each. This one costs $40, that one costs $80, and so that's kind of our progression tree in the usual manner of these kinds of games. So we click play again. We now have 2 bridges, so we click and drag over one, and as soon as it goes green we can then drag over another. We've spent all our bridges. We've earned $2 this time, so we can now make it so that each island has more money, and we can give ourselves an extra second to travel along the time. And in the usual progression of these things, we can just run again and get some more money. As you can see, every time we run, the islands have a slightly different layout. These first 2 normally just have money on it, these first 2 rows, as it were. and then some of them are empty, some of them have money. We'll eventually unlock ones that give us more time, we'll unlock ones that give us more bridges, and so on. That's how the meta progression allows us to travel further and further down the row of islands, as it were. But we still just have 2 bridges, so we can, for example, do like so, and we go to ding to ding, and that's it. That's all we can do for that. But we now have $4, and we can start buying these. Let's buy another bridge. Let's buy some more time, and let's put more money on each island. And we can do that one twice. And then if we have a look, we now have 3 bridges. We now have 5 seconds, and we can dung dung dung. And now we're making more money. And we earned $10 that run. So we can now sort of start, in the usual matter, start buying more things there. Get some more time, get some more bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We ran out of time there, even though we hadn't cleared all of the islands. So that's how you need to then judge your run and see how it sort of adds to more things. So we can give ourselves some more time. We can, instead of getting another bridge, because we're not really crossing all of the things, let's just keep boosting the time, actually. And we have enough to put some more money on the islands. So now it's gone yellow because we've maxed it out, 5 out of 5. You can see there's the same upgrade, but it costs more per tick now. And there's other upgrades that are quite obvious. This one's quite a nice one. So we have 2 cars now traveling along our route. That'll help boost the money collection quite effectively, because now we have the ability to travel a bit further as we buy more bridges. What we really need is more time, because we aren't even emptying out all of our islands, but we're doing so. Let's grab more time there. Play for another round. And you get to the point where time is the most important resource, because you can start getting upgrades that give you money per second that ticks, and things like that, and upgrades for getting money every time you put a bridge down and stuff like that. So the game shifts in very interesting ways as you progress further along it. Let's grab one of those. We'll grab another bridge just so we can have a bit more. And time is really the resource we need the most of at the moment, because we're not even emptying islands. So let's try and get more time. Another second there. Grab some more. That extra second, it does make a difference. Alright, so the previous run we got 24, this one we got 27, so just every bit helps. We can buy 2 units of time there. Yeah. I'm doing pretty good, I think. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how it decides, if you've picked up the money, whether or not you have to get the money back all the way to our start point before it counts as money you've collected, or how that kind of thing works. Because, yeah, it looks like just if the truck has touched the money, you have earned it. So it doesn't have to make it all the way back as long as it has picked it up. And that seems to be the way it works, as far as I can tell. And this number is your total money, even while you're doing a run. So it's not the money for that run, it's your money in total. We can pop you up 1 level. Alright. This will be the last run that I do. Whoops, I messed that up there. But if you have a disorganized route, then it kind of gets quite confused as to figuring out the route it has to take to collect all the money. And I suppose that is the traveling salesman problem right there, that this game is trying to figure out what is the optimal route it can take amongst the islands to collect as efficiently as possible, and how can you as the player modify your bridge layout to optimize the route. It is a question. It is a question. Alright. Which means I want to try and figure something out. Let's buy another car while we're here. And just as the last test, if I go ding, 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 does it just then drive in circles? That's interesting. Because that's pretty efficient. Alright, so if you guys want to come and play the game, that is something to consider. If you can build a circular route, that might actually be a more efficient solution to getting money faster. And that's all the gameplay I'm going to show. So if you're just here for the gameplay, well, the link will be in the description. Come and play the game. This is very, very interesting. This is a really fun way of, I suppose, testing your brain power against routes and pathing and things like that, which is a very fundamental and very popular part of, I suppose, development and not so much game design. I suppose it's relevant to game design as well, but just developmental design and logic and things like that. And I think this is a fun way of taking a look at that pretty problem within the context of a game, which is the best way to look at things. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like if you liked the video. Don't forget to comment. Tell me if you did like the video, or didn't like the video, or what you think I should do differently. I appreciate comments when I see them. So thank you for that very much. And if you want to see me do more indie games and have a look at the indie industry and the rather drastic changes that are happening to it at the moment. I mean, it's a pretty volatile industry at the best of times, but things are pretty hectic at the moment with AI and censorship regulations and all of that kind of stuff. So come and take a look at things. Subscribe, because I will be looking at those things as we go along. And yeah, that's it for the gameplay stuff. So I'll see you in the next video. If you are here for the critiques, well, critique number 1, there doesn't seem to be any kind of, well, there's no sounds or anything like that, so obviously there's no sound controls. I think my critique is, firstly, this game needs sounds. It needs, every game really could do with sounds to make it more immersive, make the player get drawn into it more. And while this is a logic puzzle game, it is one that has the emulation of a real-world scenario in a very simplified, idealized form, of course, and that is part of the immersion, and that needs to have the player drawn into it, to care more about the game as more than just a logic problem. And sound is so vital for that. It's such a fundamental part of a player's experience, a player's perception of the game. So I would really work on sounds here. I mean, I don't know, have truck driving noises, have little dinks as you successfully place a bridge, something like that, just something to give that sound depth to the game. Or if you're developers for any other game, just don't forget your sounds. It's so important for so many players, and the players themselves just aren't even aware of how important it is, how much of an immersion element it can be. The UI is fine in the way that it's implemented, but it's clearly missing sort of quality of life controls, and it's missing an actual tutorial. I mean, I kind of figured it out from sort of looking at this and then fiddling with the game a bit, and that is not a good experience for a new player. Like with the sounds, those first few minutes of the gameplay experience fundamentally defines how a player regards the game. So you really do want to make that first few minutes as positive as possible, and a good way to do that is with the good tutorial, with a tutorial that is effective and powerful, and fun. The tutorials have to be fun, they have to be interesting, add some humor in there, something like that, elements like that, to really give the player a positive mindset going into the game. And that will make them love the game and spread the word and play it with more enthusiasm and more attention and effectiveness, and just help the game succeed. yeah, so good tutorial, good sounds. Those are my two main critiques. The art, the game looks absolutely fine. I mean, it's obviously not an art extravaganza, but it is meant to display a logic problem, and it does a very, very effective job of doing that. I appreciate the sort of the minimalistic layout. Yeah, there's a lot of information on the page, but not too much. This can get a little bit confusing. You might want to spread this out a little bit more, add some tooltips to tell you about what each thing is, something like that, something just to make it a little bit more easily readable for a player. But yeah, even then this works absolutely fine. Just make sure your tutorial explains what's going on, and then players will be quite happy with it. The gameplay is very, very, very interesting, very fun, very enjoyable. I'm not the most obsessive about logic games, as in pure logic games. I'm more of a lore nerd and an RPG nerd and that kind of stuff. I love stuff with story, but this is effective. This works. Just as an interesting way to sort of warm the brain up and just see how it goes. You don't really need more than this to make an interesting game, and a fun game, a game that is good to play. And yeah, that's all you really need is a game that gives you that kind of enjoyment. So in terms of the gameplay, I think this works perfectly. Full marks, full score. It would be nice if there was more story behind it, and I suppose we're drifting to the immersion element now. Some kind of lore, some kind of background. I know not everybody cares about that, but it is a layer. As long as it doesn't get into the player's face, it is a layer that adds a lot more attention to the game for a lot of players. So really consider doing some writing, some expansion, and obviously post-game jam when this game is being worked on. I don't know if the game jam is running at the moment. Let's escape out, have a look. LibGDX Jam 35. Having a look at the overview. So the game jam has ended. It ran until today, December the 15th. So it ended today. I hope this game did well. Doesn't seem to be an easy way to see how it did. Maybe they're still doing their final judgments and things like that. I mean, the game the jam did just end today. So yeah, good luck if that's still being decided. I think this is a very good game, very well made, very well implemented, and hopefully it will be expanded on post jam. The dev did say he has other games on Steam, so maybe you go and give him a look on Steam and see how they're doing. And maybe wishlist and or purchase one if you are so inclined, because we need to support good indie developers and we need good games to play. So it's a mutual benefit for everyone if you buy indie games rather than the AAA games and all of that kind of stuff. And I am rambling now, so I think this is a good time to end the rambling and end the recording and leave you guys to go on about your day and maybe watch some other videos, because YouTube has a lot of fun content and I'm hoping to add to it. So thank you for watching. Link is in the description. Come play the game. Come give the devs some love. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.